Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Each Monday at noon Central, Christine hosts unscripted conversations with experts. Learn more at agingbetternetwork.com. Laura Gillott and the Gillott Home Team. Real estate for the Mid-Willamette Valley. Call the office at 541-451-2211. Learn more at teamgillott.com. The Jim Kuhlman Insurance Agency. Since 2003, the best in auto, home, business, life, and even pet insurance. Call him today at 451-753-2500 and online at jimkuhlman.com. 10D Tech. Managed services, cloud services, data backup and recovery, cybersecurity services, and more. Call 10D Tech at 541-250-3672 and online at 10dtech.com. And now let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show. Here we go. Morning, Scott.
Good morning. I was looking out the window to show everybody. I'm here at Startup Waco inside this Superman size phone booth. They're getting ready to do the weekly meetup that they do here. And unfortunately, it always starts right at the same time as this show. And so usually what I'll do is when we finish up, I hop in the car and drive over. It's just about 3 minutes from my house. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to broadcast from here so I can jump into the conversation. But I love hanging out with you, Russ. We get to do this on Monday and Wednesday.
Well, Scott, I want to tell you that I am having technical difficulties again. So you keep talking for a moment while I fix those technical difficulties. Okay, there we go.
Well, just tell everyone we are live every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 9 here in Texas, and 10 if you happen to be on the East Coast and anywhere around the world. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Then this converts to a podcast. So find us on Spotify or any of your favorite podcast players. But Spotify is a good place. You can go to local.theexperience.video and learn all about the show. The other shows that we have, including the Marketing with Russ shows, which are on Monday and Thursday, Russ Reels, which is Thursday afternoons, and the Experience Local, which is on Monday, Believers in Business, and the Waco Experience, an American Story, which I broadcast from here in Waco. That's a show that broadcasts on KBBW every Saturday morning at 8:30, and then is a podcast worldwide.
That is so awesome. And I'm back and I can hear you again, Scott. It's been one of those wonderful mornings. But, we're just so thankful everybody's here on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott, our flagship show. And Scott's giving you all the information. And I got it up on there at the screen, local.theexperience.video for all that you need. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. You can do it there or go straight to theexperience.video. We'll take you directly to our YouTube page. It's growing by leaps and bounds because my pets are more popular than Scott and I, and they're on our YouTube shorts. So there you go.
I'm not surprised.
There you go. But anyway, I am so excited every Wednesday to be here with you, Scott. And we do have the most amazing guests like Zak Stone, who's with us today. Mm-hmm. Zak is, if you guys once you see him, you'll know, but he's my twin. So he and I, people get us confused. He likes to take selfies. I, of course, have the hashtag Russ selfie. We just look very similar, although he's younger, and buffer than I am. But
well, I tell you, we were having a great conversation in the green room, and I look forward to bringing him on the stage here. He's got a fascinating background, and I think people will want to tune in and find out and share this with their friends because always inspiring stories here. Zak's got some great stuff to share.
Absolutely, he does. And make sure, like Scott said, to share this out. Tag your friends right now. Let them know we are on, and we're going to get Zak in the room and get things started because he is an awesome, awesome friend. Good morning, Zak.
Good morning, guys. How are you
Zak.
doing this morning?
Doing great, doing great. It's such a blessing to have you on. When we officially got connected after people getting us confused and thinking we were twins online, I remember walking up to give a shout out at a Salem greeters meeting for the chamber. Zak's leading the meeting. He comes over, puts his arm around me, goes, "My twin." And so that was the start of a wonderful relationship and friendship. And what a great guy. So, Zak, give us a little info. Who in the world is Zak Stone? What are you up to?
I'm a almost 49-year-old professional photographer here in Salem, Oregon. I spent about 20 years in the commercial real estate field, and I decided I finally time to grow up and chase my dream of doing what I am passionate about. If that makes any sense. And I guess I'm also going to do other things too.
So you're talking about photography, and early on we were talking about you strapping on like a 20-pound camera and doing so. Give us a little history here, because you were there before all of these GoPro YouTube stars were probably born.
So
you knew what was going on.
I graduated high school in 1995, so technology was still pretty basic. I don't want to say basic, but it was still like learning what it could become. It was before this high definition. You had to use a bigger camera, and to put that camera in a water housing so it's protected, it was about a 20-pound, 25-pound ordeal or burden I had to bear to get the video shots that I wanted back when I was doing a wakeboarding, skateboarding kind of videos.
Yeah. Well, what I love about you, Zak, is you are bigger than life. You're kind of in your calm mode this morning, but Zak, telling you,
I did just wake up like 30 minutes ago.
Zak actually
caffeine.
There you go. That's what I needed before the show started. Get my experience mug and get some coffee. But what I love, you lead huge meetings, very outgoing guy. And then you are also the entertainment at a professional basketball league and team here in Salem, the Salem Capitals, which is a lot of fun. Talk a little bit about those things, or what you love about people and the community and coming together.
Well, after I joined the Salem Chamber, that's when I really learned what community support is all about. A lot of like-minded people that work for businesses or own businesses, but want to see growth in a positive manner in our community. And I just fell in love with it and got behind it and started becoming a cheerleader for anyone and everyone who wants a better community, Salem, Kaiser area for us.
Yeah.
Well, Russ and I met at a chamber event, and so let's just talk about what is your business exactly, and how do you promote yourself at these chamber events and other events?
So I'm a professional photographer, content creator. I work with different businesses here in Salem and in Oregon, and actually around the nation. I'll work with companies, national companies, especially in the outdoor field, and just help make marketing material for them. I try not to really sell myself at like chamber events. I feel like I want to work with people who I build a relationship with, people who I have fun with. And that's one thing I learned in real estate. I always wanted to work with people who could see the bigger picture, could see the end goal, but also have fun along the way. There's a lot of times I've had jobs or worked with people who take it almost way too serious, and there is a time and place to be serious, but also you got to remember why you're there in the first place. And it's not just to be miserable and grind hard.
Yeah. Well, this, Zak, one thing when we first met, you're doing some amazing photography, but you're just so much bigger than that with all that you do. And like we talked about, the community stuff you're doing and all of that. I just love the kind of person and the heart that you have for our community, the heart that you have for all. And I like the fact that you have got to the point where a lot of people do. They start off in, the 9 to 5 job, or the, what they think they're expected to do, and then really realize what their passion is, that they really want to move that direction. And boy, some of the photography things you do and some of the areas that you capture, talk about what you really love to do with photography, and you're traveling all over taking pictures.
So my favorite subject for photography is the night sky. As you can see behind me here, there's a photo of the Milky Way over Crater Lake. Kind of, if I move around, you kind of see it. I just got back from a trip just 2 days ago, and I was at this lake with a view of the Three Sisters, and the mosquitoes were so bad. Like, my friends were just getting eaten alive. I was getting eaten alive. But I didn't mind it because I knew the kind of photos I was getting. So I kind of like suffer for the photography. Shooting the Milky Way nighttime sky, you don't get a lot of sleep because you're having to monitor all your stuff. Sorry, I thought I had a visitor. You're monitoring your settings and compositions, and stuff change. Weather can move in and ruin your shot. I had that happen to me in Eastern Oregon a couple weeks ago. Some clouds rolled in and covered up the whole starry sky. So you also got to worry for rain. If it starts raining, get your camera gear protected.
So let's talk about the gear a little bit, because I remember backpacking. We were in the Mount Rainier wilderness, and we were back in an area called Gobbler's Knob, and there was a guy who came in with a large format camera, and so people understand. I mean, that's a big piece. He came in with to take one picture, right?
Oh, so he brought in like an old school.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's this big piece of film, the whole thing, glass pane. He hiked in to take one picture and then hike out again, right? Digital photography has changed a lot, but let's just kind of talk about your evolution. We talked about these 20-pound rigs that you had. What have you seen? What's going on, and what's the future?
Oh boy. So I mean, I started out shooting professionally with a Canon 40D camera, SLR, so it's a single lens reflex, where it actually had the mechanical shutter that would open and shut. And then fast forward, digital got a little bit more advanced, and they came out with mirrorless cameras. So you didn't have the SLR, the mechanical part. It was just more of an open shutter and close. And I was just thinking, excuse me, you said that guy went in there to shoot one photo, but his photo is a tangible thing that he can hold. Right now, all my photos are on this little tiny card. And I was actually just going through one of my cards and trying to recover some data that I lost. I went up and shot the fireworks show at Detroit up above the lake. And I realized yesterday that I might have erased all the photos that I shot.
Oh.
And so I've been going through my cards and going through recovery software, trying to locate which card and if I still had the photos, and I think they're all gone. And I just the fact that technology, sometimes we think it's so great and so much easier, but here it is. If I would have just had film, that would never get deleted or lost unless you lost the film. But digitally, it can't be destroyed.
Well, I remember, it was when we got married. It was 1984, and the photographer, of course, this is all pre-digital, right? So it's an analog film. So he brought he would get film from 2 different batches, and then he would take those 2 batches and split them and send them in at different times to processing, because he goes, we're doing weddings, and if it was a bad batch of film that came out, well, that's all lost. If we send it all in to get processed, and this is back in the day, right? Take it all down to the photo place, and they do the development and prints and stuff. He goes, if they had an accident and all that film was there. So there was a lot of precautions that I appreciated that he took back then. And so this is what I hear you're saying as well with the digital side.
Yeah, like I have my camera, it has 2 slots for memory cards. just in case. You can shoot backup, or you can just shoot fill one and then fill the other. I'm that guy with the film camera. I bet he shot 24 or 60, 36 shots and then had to say timeout, no kissing, and switch film.
Yep.
Or he had an assistant where he's shooting, hands off a camera, grabs another camera. That's what I would do if I had to do film, because, man, I just shot my last wedding in May for a good friend of mine, and I don't really like shooting weddings. And I shot over 3,000 photos in 4 hours.
I can believe it. I did 900 at my son-in-law's football game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, you got to shoot that many sport events or like weddings or special occasions, because there's that certain moment that you're trying to capture, that magic that is exchanged between people. And you're kind of like in the background, like a paparazzi, like trying to capture that. And that's how I like to shoot, at least. I don't like to get up in people's face, really. And whenever we're trying to capture a moment and kind of be removed so they don't feel that pressure of the camera. But man, yeah, my wife's been editing those photos, and here we are, July, and she's almost done. She does a really good job of editing people photos, more so than I do, unless it's like of myself or food or the night sky.
Well, you know, there's things that I loved about the old style of photography. I took photography at Oregon State and would get in the dark room, you know, with the negatives and actually develop the photos. And it was some cool stuff about that, because it would come out and you're like, wow, that's awesome. But the problem is, if things were messed up and you developed them, you got it back, oh, they're all overexposed, or it didn't work out. And then you're kind of bummed because you didn't. The nice thing about digital photography is you see it immediately. And you also, like you said, you can shoot like crazy. We used to think, okay, I got to pay this much money to have these developed, so I'm not going to take like 500 pictures of the same thing. You know, the hashtag Russ selfie, I probably take 4 or 5 photos of every selfie. I just snap to make sure everybody's eyes are opened, everybody looks good, just like you said. And so, you know, you wouldn't have done that before. You're just taking a shot, hoping it's going to turn out. But it was kind of magical, that moment. You know, but you also had to be careful when you were developing, because when I first started, you know, you gotta make sure you're in the dark room and the lights are out, because otherwise that exposes all your film and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You do that once.
Yeah. I took photography in high school. I didn't pass the class, but it was fun being in the dark room, and you put your negative, or even like the photo paper, once you like transfer the negative to photo paper, and you're washing it and that image starts to come alive. That is a cool moment. And that surprise too. I think that's something we kind of miss now, is the surprise of, well, did I get it or not? And I think also, like you said, like you take 5 selfies or 800 photos back when it was film and it was expensive to get your shots developed. I think people took more time to think about the shot, prepare the shot, and then take it, where nowadays it's just like what's over there, and you're looking this way but shooting that way because you don't care.
There was I mentioned that guy with the one glass slide that he took, and I mean, that's what he did, right? I mean, he knew where he was going. He had it all framed up in his mind, and so when he got there, it was, you know, the mechanical process to be able to expose that one image. But I remember back, and this is in the early 80s, the National Geographic had come to the Oregon coast and did a story, and there's 3 pictures in there, and they are just, I mean, they're National Geographic photos. You know, you look at it and like, wow, I've been to the coast a lot. None of my pictures look like this, but of course they have professional gear, they have professional eyes, they have, you know, whatever. Then I found out, this is back in, 1981, that they took 10,000 frames to get 3. And I go, look, if I had a budget to take 10,000 frames, I could probably get 3 that look pretty good.
Right.
Not to say that they didn't have a higher percentage, but this is a problem. You mentioned you took 3,000 pictures at a wedding. So we do have a budget to take 10,000 frames today.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the time. You talked about your wife doing the editing. Let's talk about the editing process, because that's what differentiates us amateurs with our phones and a true photographer.
So yeah, I start going through all the photos and just like looking because when you're there shooting, like, you know what you're trying to capture, and you know what you see, and you remember those moments and those times and the lighting. So I try and go through the camera, delete the ones that, you might have been halfway zooming in or in the process of zooming when you took it, so it's blurry, or someone has their eyes closed, or someone just making a weird face because they're talking. Like, that's one thing I've learned, is when to take a picture when someone's talking, because I've done a lot of photos of award shows or presentations, and that's been tricky. But going through, whittling down the photos, starting to edit the process, and you kind of give an overall finished product, like you edit it halfway so you can see a lot of the details. Because when I shoot photos, I kind of shoot on a underexpose. Like, I don't overexpose, because you can always, if you overexpose too much, you can lose all that data and information and you can't recover it. But when you underexpose, shoot your photos a little darker. When you put them in Lightroom, the software, not the actual red lighted room with all the chemicals, you can kind of bring back all those different things that might have been underexposed during it. But yeah, it's also, when you edit like wedding photos or people photos, like family pics, senior photos, you kind of want to edit a little bit, stop, sleep on it, wake up the next day, kind of have fresh eyes. It's amazing how many times I'll be editing something, even nighttime photography or a sunset, and I'm editing it and I think I'm going the right direction and I think I'm done with it, but I'll sleep on it, look at it the next day, maybe adjust a few things, and you realize, oh no, this looks better now. And so it's almost like you can't rush the process. You got to take your time and really devote the time. And that's the thing, time that you spend doing it. So you kind of also got to figure out, like, where do I want to spend my time editing a bunch of photos, or is this photo even worth my time editing?
Well, that's why we need people like you, Zach, that have that great eye that can actually see those things, because, I just shoot it and take it and hope it's good and just go with it.
Well, once you learn, though, too, like, instead of looking at the screen that you're framing up, you learn to look at the camera so you can kind of get that eye contact with the photo after it's been taken. That's what I do when you take a selfie. I look at the camera. I don't even know how good I look or not, but I know I'm next to you, so I must be looking good because we look the same.
There we go.
Well, there you go. You're looking good, but I gotta tell you the lesson I got from my friend, Mr. D. Scott Smith. It's like, look at your camera. Look at your camera. He's telling me that I'm not looking at my camera. And I said, I am looking at my camera. He says, you're not looking at your camera. I'm looking at my camera. He goes, you're looking at yourself. You're not looking at your camera.
Well, I know.
Put your finger over the camera and you'll know where it is, So, yes.
Well, and like right now, I'm looking down at you while I'm listening to you. But if I look at myself, I can tell my eyes are looking down. So then I got to just look at the green light.
Right. Let's talk about trends in fashion, because apparently in the 50s and 60s, people just loved black and white photographs. In the 70s, they loved them where they were like, all the reds were washed out, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. That tangible photos, they change over time. But let's talk about, what are the styles, what are the fashions in photography right now?
Boy, it's all over the place, because depending on where you live and your culture and what you're experiencing. Also, like, with all these social media sharing apps, it's so much quicker and easier for stuff to get put out there and absorbed, and then people can, back in the day, like National Geographic, you had to have that magazine to see that photo. And nowadays, like, you can take a photo, post it on social media, and it could become something viral by people resharing it over and over again. And before you know it, not just your 10 friends, but 10,000 people that you don't even know have seen your photo. That's always I feel like our reach now has gotten bigger, but made the world smaller. Like, an incident can happen somewhere in the world and everyone can know about it right away. I think that's one of the trends, is like the instant not gratification, but the instant sharing of information,
right,
has definitely advanced.
And who do you admire as a photographer out there? I mean, for those of us growing up, it was the coffee table Ansel Adams books, right? I mean,
Oh
like
yeah.
we all saw, but who do you see today that you like to emulate or would like to be like, or what do
Boy,
you draw inspiration from?
I when I was moving or making the switch from real estate into photography, there was a gentleman on YouTube that I watched a lot of his videos, Casey Neistat, and he was a filmmaker who worked on big projects, small projects, self-made. Um, he finally decided, you know what, I'm done doing the Hollywood thing. I'm done listening to other people tell me I can't put it up like this or I can't make a movie like this. And he just started doing YouTube videos, and he started daily vlogging, and that like helped him hone his craft on editing and storytelling. But his attitude and his just like, I'm going for it. That was something that really inspired me to try and make photography my career and my full-time job. And so that was a huge inspiration. I just actually got done. This was like 2015, 16, and 17. 2018 is when I left real estate altogether and just started photography. But I just rewatched all of his vlog videos the end of last year, and it took into this year because there's over like 600 videos. But it was such a recharge of creativity and drive for me that I was like, man, this guy needs to make more videos. But as you watch his videos and you see him progress over the 5 years, 6 years, you learn that, it work is important, but it's not the whole thing. And spending time with your family and friends, that's what it's really all about, and making sure you have that time. And that's one thing that I kind of relearned this second time watching his videos is like, after 5 o'clock, I'm not going to respond to emails or texts or edit photos. I'm going to spend time with my wife and kids. And then like last night, after the kids were in bed, my wife and I were watching TV, and I just sat on the laptop for maybe 30 minutes and got some stuff done. But reorganizing my time and what's important, our kids are only little for a while, and mine are now 14, 12, and almost 9. So it's going by fast.
Oh my goodness. It goes by so fast. Trust me, my little one is almost 35, and my little boy is 32. So it goes flying on by, I tell you. And Zach,
Well,
you know what?
I understand, because my daughter is already looking at getting her own cell phone plan, and she's only 27.
Yes, I tell you,
Good
they
for
grow up
her.
so fast.
Good for her.
Yeah, they're
Focusing
so
on what's
young.
important. That's right. Well, focusing on what's important, Zach, so great. Such a great message. And I just love all that you're doing. And everybody loves a story. You were talking about that with pictures. Everybody loves a story. And when you can tell that story, that's why personal branding photography is so popular today. People are telling a story about the person. They're showing, what they're doing and in a personal way. And people love that. So give us your final thoughts today, your gold nugget of the day, what you want people to remember from this conversation, and let everybody know how they get in touch with you, because I know people are going to want to reach out and find out more info.
So I'm gonna quote something from Casey Neistat, because this was, how you kind of like put something off because it's not perfect, or you're making something, you're like, all right, I'm gonna tweak this, do that, but I'm not sure if I want to share yet. Like taking a selfie or making a video, and it's like you have this idea in your head of what perfect is. Well, don't let perfect get in the way of good enough. And I think with nowadays, with how short everything's consumed, the time frame, like when you look at a photo, you look at it maybe once, maybe you'll look at it twice, but then it's pretty much done. You're not going to go back and look at it again. Same with the video. Some videos you'll want to watch over and over, but I'd say don't be afraid to just put yourself out there, put your product out there, and see how the world takes it. You can reach me at Zak Stone Photography. That's ZAKSTONE Photography on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can email me at zackstonephotography@gmail.com. I'm not going to give you my phone number, but that's how you can contact me.
That is great. And we've got all of that information below you. It's in the comments. It's in the show notes. Everybody can reach out. It's clickable, everybody. Just click on it. Go straight to Zak. And he is a great resource and an amazing human being. And I appreciate his friendship. Thanks so much, Zak. Thanks for being here
even
today.
threw in my Zak the Lego Maniac account too. Thank you.
There you go.
Well, I have to talk about Legos.
I have to give full credit to my amazing teammate. She puts all this together. All of these things that look like me is actually somebody helping me backstage. So I appreciate that. Zak, we're going to say goodbye, send you to the green room, but hang tight for just a minute as we wrap up.
It's been fun, Zak.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
All right. Well, I love that guy. I mean, he is just, he's waking up this morning, but this guy is bigger than life. And he and I, he is my twin. We get out there. I'm older and much better looking, but he is younger and more buff than I am. So there you go. Anyway.
Well, there's always a trade-off, I suppose. But no, this has been fun. It's great to look into the history and to see where he's going. But I think what I appreciate the most is the focus on what things are important.
Well, you just totally cut out on me, Scott. Are you still there?
Yep. I'm still here.
Say that again.
Yeah. What I really appreciated today was, there's a lot of stories, but I really appreciated that he came down to the solid point of knowing what's important.
Exactly. No, I agree with that 100%. And, that's with life, no matter what you're in, your experience of life, everybody should be focusing on what's important. You know what? And that is, God and your faith, your family and your friends, and focus on the things that really have everlasting value and not just work yourself to death, no matter what you're doing. So I've learned that from my great mentor and friend and wise one, Mr. D. Scott Smith. And so, we just always appreciate. Yeah. Scott, listen, it's been a blessing again. Every Wednesday we're here, everybody, at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time on The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. And you also can get more information at local.theexperience.video about us and all of our shows. There's a whole wide array of experience shows. Plus, we're part of the Experience Radio Network, both here in Oregon and through the Waco Experience in Waco. And so you want to check those out as well. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube page. You can go directly there at theexperience.video. And we just appreciate everybody being here. And as always, this show would be nothing without all of you watching. So thank you for being here. By the way, remember to share it. Tag your friends because they can watch on replay. It does convert to audio podcast, so you can listen if you didn't have time to watch. And we would love for you to share and like those as well. Scott, any last words?
Yeah, I just am going to be sad that I'm going to miss you when I come to Oregon because I come in and you leave. But I get to hang out with you twice every week. Always a highlight. Yes. And so take care of your family, everybody. And that's all we need to do.
Yeah, and I am going to miss you. It's nothing like seeing you in person, but I'm blessed to be able to hang out with you here every week, and it makes me happy. Yeah!
There we go.
All right, everybody. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.